Hey, Dr. Alain Desaulniers here, founder of TribeX Breakthrough Coaching and Training. And this could not have worked out more perfectly. I don't know if you were online before, if you saw me do a video before, but this is the fourth, yes, count it, fourth attempt to do this video. And what an awesome subject that I picked. What if your day goes to shit? So I was getting set up to do this little lesson, and all of a sudden my video crashes, and then my video freezes, and then my whole computer freezes, and then all kinds of stuff happened, and then my daughter walked in, and man, like it was one thing after another. All of a sudden, like anything that could have gone wrong almost did. Right, the roof didn't fall in yet, so we're good. But how often does that happen? I mean, we have the best intentions to do really cool stuff, and we want to deliver on the goods. We want to do something really neat, and we just want to live our life. And all of a sudden, a bunch of bullshit gets in the way. And this happened to me just also yesterday, just a whole bunch of stuff. We had a bunch of stuff planned. My daughter didn't want to go for a nap. She didn't want to do this. Like, people weren't calling us back. All of this stuff that kind of happened. It's like we have the best intentions to get through the day, and then something that is beyond our control fucks the whole thing up. Now, the question then is, what happens when that stuff happens? Do we get triggered? Do we get upset? Do we just let it flow? Do we just stay happy? Do we forgive? Do we forget? What do we do? What do we do when our days go to shit? Now, there's an old saying that says that we will never rise to the level of our expectation, but we'll always fall to the level of our training. Meaning that I can visualize the most ideal day and walk into the day, and everything could be going exactly the way that I want, and all of a sudden something happens. Now, at that point, it's not happening the way that I expected. But the important thing is, how am I training? How am I training myself to overcome those things? This is something I used to be fucking terrible at, like awful. The littlest thing that would happen, if it happened first thing in the morning, if I woke up and I was a little bit crabby or something like that, my whole day would go to shit. Like my whole day would be terrible. Not only that, but usually it started out like a whole week. My whole week was just gone because of one stupid thing that did or did not happen. Most of the things that happened were actually just things that happened in my brain. They actually weren't happening in reality, but they just happened in my brain. So over the years, I've developed some strategies and developed some tools and developed some training to be able to overcome those things. These are things that we always will go over with any client that I have in my coaching practice here, that will always go through one of these three things. I'm always looking at the framework of these three things, and it's this. So when we look at what kind, our days go to shit. We're having some sort of problem. I'm having some sort of challenge. I'm against some sort of roadblock. It's one of three basic things that'll start to happen. So I'll ask myself, is it this, this, or this? So the first thing we need to look at is our state. Right? And many times this is the big problem that we have. It's like, I'm just in a shitty state. I'm just like, oh, like I may have rolled out of bed. I had too much cake or something last night, or whatever it was, right? Now, if it's not a state issue, we have to look at the story. Am I telling myself a bullshit story? What is the story that I'm telling myself about what happened? See, there's things that trigger us. There's things that happen, but it's not so much the things that happen to us, it's what we create inside of our own minds, the stories that we tell ourselves, right? Someone cuts us off in traffic. Then all of a sudden the story becomes, the world is out to get me. I'm fucked, right? Then if it's not a state, it's not a story issue, then it is strategy. This is just something that I need to look at and I need to do a little bit different. But here's the interesting thing. Most of us will go to the strategy first. We'll go to start here, and we'll think that this is what is going to change our lives. Now, strategies are absolutely fantastic. They're going to absolutely do some great things for us, but we won't actually do them if we have the story that is preventing us from doing that. Will also stop us from doing that if we are just in a really shitty state, right? So we need to start with our state, get ourselves into a great state, move our bodies, right? So if something shitty happens, first thing I'll do is something that I learned called a shift move. So I take some deep breaths, I do some box breathing, let out a bit of aggression maybe, and then do some burpees, just 5 burpees. All of a sudden, my body's in a totally different state. right? Then I say, what are the stories that I'm telling myself? What am I telling myself about what's happening right now? And then a very important question I learned from Byron Katie. She said, is this true? So the story that I'm telling myself, is this true? Is it really true? What else could be possible? What could be possible for me if this story wasn't true? Then once all of those things are mapped out, then I can look at, okay, what's the strategy? What can I do? What's the action step that I can take to make things different? Right? So we start with our state, changing our state. Then we look at our stories. And then thirdly, and only thirdly, when that happens, then we start to look at the strategy. So most people are stuck at like, well, I want to change my life. What is the strategy? What is the one thing that I can do? And totally ignore what's happening here and what's happening here. And this is really where it needs to start, is right here. And then right there. And then right there. Right? Many times it's a sequential thing like that. So one of the things that we're going to be doing over the next 2 weeks, starting on September 9th, if you've seen any of my posts over the last little bit, is I'm going to be leading people through what I call the Uprising 14-day challenge, where we're going to be looking at the framework of those three fundamentals, looking at our state, changing our state, then changing our story, then changing and looking at developing strategies, right? Looking at all of those things to help us to really to level up, to rise up to a new level of training within our bodies, within our minds, within our souls. So that whenever bullshit happens, and it will, that we'll be ready. And you don't have to go down the path that I did for years and years and years. I just sat in self-pity, sat in self-doubt, sat in self-loathing because some bullshit thing happened that I had no control over, and didn't know how to take control of the one thing, the one most important thing in my life, and that was me. My own self. That I don't have control over anything else. I have control over me. I have control over my state. I have control over my stories, and I have control over my strategies. If I choose. Many times, our state will dictate our stories, will dictate our strategies, which then feed back into this loop of complete bullshit. So if you feel like you're stuck in any one of those, or you feel like you would just want to like get to the next level, then I invite you to join us on this journey with me. 14 days, one outcome. That's really to rise up to a new level of training, to a new level of experience, to a new level of joy, a new level of fulfillment, a new level of production, a new level of profit. So you can live out the gift that's inside of you. So you can stop getting stopped by the bullshit of the day and own your state, own your story, and own your strategies. So stuff can happen, but you won't wallow in it for weeks and months and years. That can happen in an instant. And I don't proclaim to be the best at this, because I'm just like you. But what I do know is that I've figured a few things out that really work for me, that really work for my clients, that really work for the tribe that I get to lead and that I get to be a part of. And I would love the opportunity to show you how. So you can check out one of the posts before. I'm going to put the link in the comments here about the training coming up starting next Monday. Registration ends on Saturday because there is a bit of pre-training. There's going to be all kinds of stuff. I put through the curriculum for this, and I'm like, oh my God, I think this could be like a 6-month project, but we're going to go through it, and it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be awesome. And something that I know about me is that I love to see other people prosper, and I love to see other people win. And so my commitment to you, if you're joining us in the Uprising 14-day challenge, is that I'm going to do everything in my fucking power so that you win. Because I get the things that I want in my life by helping you get the things that you want in your life. So check out the link. It'll be below in just a minute as soon as I'm done this. Should probably put it in the thing, but you can go down in my feed. It's everywhere in there. And join us. Love to have you. All right. So we never rise to the level of our, or we may never rise to the level of our expectations, but we will always fall to the level of our trading. So I look forward to seeing you soon. Have an awesome day. I'm Dr. Alain Desonier, founder of Tribex Breakthrough Coaching and Training. Ciao.